December 6th of a Gnome Valley Christmas Adventures. Butteo carries Totte on his back, walking down the stairs as silent as possible. But Lisa wakes up by the creaking sound of the stairs, noticing that Butteo and Totte are gone. Butteo sits in the front of the wagon with the reins in his hands. Totte lays in the wagon with warm fur and blankets over him. "Be careful, my lad," the farm gnome says, waving him goodbye. "I'm so grateful for your help. When I get back, you'll have a large bowl of porridge," Butteo says, smiling kindly. "Oh, don't worry about that. The farm gnomes like me are always happy to help. Now hurry off, you two, and watch out for the jólakutturinn," the farm gnome says as Butteo urges Timmy and Haldir to run in fast tilt. The wind blows hard and cold. The snowflakes whip Butteo in the face, and the cold bites his cheeks. Timmy and Haldir plod through the deep snow, but their thick, bushy manes protect their necks. Butteo stops the horses and jumps from his seat to the back of the wagon where Totte is. Butteo opens one of the bottles and gives Totte a sip of the warm milk. Totte coughs. "That's the saltiest milk I've ever tasted," Totte says, giggling. "Yeah, well, it's camel's milk," Butteo says, and the boys giggle. Butteo takes a sip of the milk from his bottle and jumps back to the front seat. The wagon sways in the snow like a boat in a harbor. Butteo throws up in the snow and gets even more dizzy, rubbing his forehead. Suddenly, Butteo gets an unpleasant feeling that he and Totte are not alone. Butteo looks towards the ice and sees a giant black cat walking towards him. The eyes of the cat shimmer like gold, and the sharp claws shimmer like silver. Butteo stares terrified at the cat. "The Yule cat!" Butteo thinks to himself and urges the horses to gallop in full speed, but the cat runs after. The snow around the wheels flies everywhere, and the wagon sways even more like a boat in a powerful storm at sea. Butteo looks back at the cat, whose eyes now had turned white as the snow, and the rows of sharp teeth are clearly visible. Butteo steers the horses towards the forest glade, and manages to escape the Yule cat, at least for a while. Meanwhile, Lisa carefully sneaks out of the bedroom and knocks on the door to Tassel and Falcon's bedroom. Thinking that no one comes opening the door, Lisa does it herself and peeks carefully inside the room. Barely awake, Tassel and Falcon look at Lisa, rubbing her eyes. "Butteo and Totte are gone," Lisa says sleepily, and Falcon jumps out of the bed. Tassel walks with Lisa back to the bed, and Falcon dresses quickly. A while later, Falcon stands outside in the blizzard and runs down the stable along with Milvis. But just like Butteo, they run into the camel's stable instead of the horses. Falcon sighs and looks annoyed. "We have to put signs on these damn stables." No cursing in the no cursing in the stables," the farm gnome says and slaps Falcon on his rear end. "Ow! Well, sorry, Farm Gnome, but it's quite tiring to rush into the wrong stable constantly, Falcon says, rubbing his rear end. Don't worry, lads. I can fix signs for you, the farm gnome says, and immediately starts making signs. Inside the forest glade, Butteo looks around in panic. His heart pounds like a galloping horse's hoofs in the chest, and he breathes like he's dreamed a nightmare. The cat is gone. We can continue, Totte says. Butteo opens his leather bottle and takes a sip of the camel's milk. The lukewarm milk calms Butteo down a bit. Then he urges the horses to walk after they have taken a few sips of water from the rippling stream. Dimi and Haldir walk calmly in the dark forest. Totte feels nauseous and lays down under the blankets and furs. Suddenly, the giant cat appears again, but Butteo decides to just rush past the cat, disappearing like a cloud of dust. A pack of hungry wolves run after Butteo and the wagon. They bark, snarl, and growl as they run after the wagon. Luckily, Butteo sees the elves' hospital, a huge grand building in a glade. Butteo steers the horses towards the building, determined. From the watchtower, one of the elves sees Butteo's wagon driving in full speed towards the hospital. Lo and behold, Tornio, look! The elf named Pite shouts. Tornio looks in the little telescope and sees the wagon tumbling over and roll to the ground. The horses panic, rear on their hind legs, and start kicking the wolves. Butteo grabs a thick branch and jumps up on a rock, hitting the attacking wolves, when a wolf bites Butteo's tail. Suddenly, an arrow hits the ground, and Bulsara comes jumping with Falcon on his back. As Falcon distracts the wolves by throwing a piece of meat, the nurses, Lulia and Umia, run towards Dimi and Haldir to calm them down. Tornio comes running to pick Totte up quickly. Butteo sits down on the mossy rock, feeling ashamed and shaking in fear. A tear runs down Butteo's cheeks as he looks up at Falcon. Falcon gives Butteo a serious gaze, almost an angry look. Then he sighs and sits down in front of Butteo, and sits down beside Butteo. Butteo, I am very disappointed that you didn't listen to me. Both you and Totte could have been killed. I just wanted to do a good deed. I tried to be brave like you, but I obviously failed. Butteo stutters and sobs. Falcon wipes away tears from Butteo's cheeks, then looks at Butteo's wounded tail. Falcon sits beside Butteo on the rock, cleaning the wound, while with white sphagnum moss. If the wolves had gone for your throat, I would no longer have a little brother to talk to. Falcon says, looks at Butteo, and sheds a tear from the dreadful thought. Dr. Tornio steps towards the two brothers, just as Butteo loses consciousness. Butteo wakes up in the hospital with a warm cup of lemon balm tea in his freezing cold hands. Where's Totte? Butteo asks and looks at Falcon, who sits beside the bed. He's being treated by the nurses, Dr. Tornio says and smiles kindly. Then Butteo turns to Falcon. You should have seen the cat that was chasing me and Totte. It was huge and scary looking. It had rows of sharp teeth, sharp claws, and white demon-like eyes. Falcon smiles and giggles. Have you looked in Grandfather Troll's scary books again? Dr. Tornio smiles. Hallucinations are common when having concussions. Hitting the head hard after falling can cause serious concussions or worse, especially when not wearing helmets. Do you understand now why Mom and I tells you to wear helmets when skiing or skating? Falcon says, stroking his fingers in Buteo's short black hair. I think so, Buteo says and feels ashamed. Here's some valerian root and lemon balm for you to take home. Lemon balm for calmness and valerian root against hallucinations or sleep disturbances. Lulia says, smiling kindly, and gives Falcon a small bag of the medical herbs. Thank you, Falcon says. A while later, Falcon drives Totte and Buteo back to the troll forest. From his pocket, Buteo picks up a honeycomb and gives to Totte. You came down first when skiing, so you deserve the honeycomb, Buteo says. Totte takes the honeycomb and breaks it in half. You almost risked your lives to save me, so you should have the honeycomb too. Dimmy, Haldir and Bulsara run in full speed back to the troll forest, and the Yule cat is nowhere to be seen. And in King Aquila's stables there are no signs, one for the camels and one for the horses. As a reward, the farm gnome received a huge bowl of rice porridge with a large dollop of butter in the middle. So that was December 6th of a Christmas series. I hope you guys like this one as well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.